These are the top 17 ways to avoid being a crappy man, according to
Undaunted Life. White man with some moose in his head.
No, he's got that Nazi haircut thing going on.
Alright, so y'all back in the living room where we got live lines and not deadlines. We're on a perpetual quest for the ideal self. Appreciate y'all. This is gonna be a long one. We like to call it 17 ways to be a better man. But as we're pulling this shit up, but G's gonna make it look like we knew what we was doing. Undaunted Life, a man's podcast. I fuck with the channel, bro. Doing the little bit of research I did on the channel, they're definitely, choosing sides as far as bipartisanship goes. So there's, gonna be things that we don't agree with, but that's with everything, right?
Right.
But, they call their video, I think it's 17 ways to not be a crappy man. Whereas if you're on the perpetual quest for the ideal self, I think you should use do words versus don't words. Our philosophy is positivity. So, not how to avoid being a crappy man, but how to be a better man. The perpetual quest for the ideal self.
I want to make a mention that I'm over here, at least in case I chime in.
Oh yeah, we got Ghostface Killer over here, who's, his face is unseen, Ghost.
My name is p.nut.gallery.
Okay. I don't get the joke. No, I'm kidding. Let's just jump in. I mean, do you want to...
You gotta embrace being a crappy man to get better, right?
Well, yeah, you gotta have awareness to being a crappy man, but we're gonna run through these, right? You want to just do the video? It's like hour 18. I didn't realize it was that long. Or you just want to run through this list? How you want to do it?
I mean, if you want to go through your Spark Notes on this, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, we could just add extra shit later. Cool, post-production.
Did either of you guys use Spark Notes?
Oh, bro, I mean, come on, bro.
I never did.
Yeah, that's why you got worse grades than me.
No, I was honors from college.
I mean, worse grades too, but anyway.
No, you were 2.5. I was 3.5.
So we're gonna run through this because I know G's like, nigga, we've been working hard today, and you gonna chime in. That's fine, but I'm gonna run through it as quickly as possible. 1.
Become a weapon. Now, this is a derivative of what we called in 2023, learn to fight. Because when you say learn to fight, some people think they already know how to fight. Because there are those people out there, they're like, I'm just going to see red, right? And if something were to happen and someone were to assault my wife or someone were to try to do something to my kids, I would just see red and I'd be able to react. And you are a fool if you believe that. Like, bless you if you believe that. There are people that don't know how to fight physically with their body, but they know how to use a firearm. But what a lot of these people have failed to realize is you're not always going to have those things at your disposal. And so in that scenario, what are you going to do? Like, what's your plan?
Become a weapon, right?
So these are the top 17 ways to avoid being a crappy man, according to
Undaunted Life. White man with some moose in his head.
No, he's got that Nazi haircut thing going on.
Exactly. It's called a man's podcast. So like a man is like an alpha, right? Like a man's podcast. Not for every guy, but for the ideal guy, I feel like is where he's coming from.
Alpha's subjective.
Right, exactly. So, 17 ways. This is inspired by him. It's not his points, point for point. I even replaced one of his shits. Become a weapon. That was big for me.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Exactly. Become a weapon, meaning be able to defend yourself and your family.
Don't get ready, stay ready.
Right. Which is why working out is good. Strength training, trying to get back to that. I would beat my own ass, nigga, like motherfucking Jim Carrey on Liar Liar.
Are you talking specifically physical?
Correct. He goes into why this is important. It's just, if you want to be completely selfless to the people that you care about the most, and I do appreciate the way you put this, it's better that you stay ready.
Yeah. Rather have and not need than the need and not have.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like there's a difference between having muscles that look good and muscles that work good.
Right.
Work well.
Can I throw out devil's advocate here? I agree with what you're saying, but like, how many times have guys gotten in situations where, let's say, someone did something wrong to a family member, like their wife or their kids, like they said something wrong, or they put them in a precarious situation, and yeah, okay, I'm gonna physically defend them, but maybe me just, taking the diplomatic way out and avoiding all that conflict, that was the better idea.
Right, but I think, again, I like the way he puts it in this video, mainly because I appreciate you bringing that up, Russ, because that's more logical. It's just if you run out of options, this is what you need at the end of the day.
Okay. So your back's against the wall.
Right.
That's exactly the phrase.
Yeah.
I was thinking about.
My personal narrative is because I work in customer service sales, so I get irate customers, and I don't have to get physical with them, but I can get verbally physical with them and be like, hey, F you, get the hell out of my store. Or I could just be like, hey, I hear you, This is what I can do. This is what you promised. This is what your solutions are.
I like this point though, Russ, because exhaust all options before this becomes the last option. But I will say he does go over that in this video.
Yeah.
He touches on it at least versus other.
He does, but he's also the type of person, he's in my opinion, like a radical, on his stance. So I feel like he's one of them cats that's like, man, I wish this nigga would try to reach for something. I'm ready to blow his top off.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
There's some people that's like, you're thinking, which makes sense. That's like, bro, I want to avoid any type of altercation. I'm trying to take the path of least resistance.
Me personally, I would love some people to actually reach behind their pocket because I would love to. I got a lot of pent up rage where I'm like, oh yeah, reach for it, see what happens,
Bro, pause. I definitely wish a nigga would a couple times.
Yeah.
But nigga, bro, not right now, ever.
No.
Bro, that's so stupid. So many people are carrying right now, bro. Right. There's cats that, first of all, they're underage carrying. On top of that, it's over 10 rounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Surprise, surprise. We're in Washington where you can't carry over 10 rounds.
And that's an act you can't take back either. It's like,
well, I mean that part. That's even deeper. But when you're a kid, it doesn't really. You don't think about that shit until after the consequence. You know what I mean? Because your mind's not all the way there. You're probably manipulated by shit you grew up seeing. Yeah. Whereas grown-ass men, finally, in our 30s, high five, some niggas ain't even made their driver's licenses. We're able to look back and think wisely about our experiences.
That's the thing about getting to 30. Like, we're still not old, but old enough to be like, okay, I have this experience, I have that experience, I have that experience. I have enough now to be able to look back and learn from my life.
Right, which is a rarity. I know fucking 50-year-olds that we're all wiser than.
I have more to lose now.
Yeah, bro, that's what my dad always used to say. He was like, bro, there's no such thing as a fair street fight, but also don't be fucking with niggas that got more to lose than you, which is most people.
Yeah.
And I didn't really respect that back then. But now I'm like, this nigga grew up in the projects, bro.
Well, I told you about my mom. She told me, she used to bring me to the bars because she worked there and people get in fights. She just told me, if you can avoid it, just don't fight, because it's, A, it's not cool. B, it usually doesn't solve anything, So if you have to, you have to, but don't fucking make it happen.
Right, and that's one thing that Washington got right is, I don't know the laws in other states, but you can actually fight in Washington.
Can you?
In the street, yeah.
Is it actually like,
to
what extent though?
Two agreeing parties, and you report it to a police officer, and they will let you fight.
So if the boys show up and we tell the cops, hey, we're gonna fight.
We've agreed to a fight.
Seattle's got a lot of weird laws. Like it's a I forget the way it's described. I think it's a mutual combat state. That's what it's described. So like if you're in front of a cop, say if I'm a cop and you and Jamie decide to duke it out, you can just say, you want to fight, motherfucker? And he'll go, yeah, I want to fight. And the cops will let you fight. Because it's some Wild West mining shit from like the fucking 1600s.
Yeah, settled it like men.
On the books. Yeah,
no lawsuits. I like it.
You can duke it out in the middle of the street. It's very dangerous though. People getting knocked out on the street is fucking terrifying because they fall and they hit their head and they go unconscious.
You can't beat the brakes off somebody.
Right.
Okay, so I was just like, what if like G and I got in a fight and I I mess G up or he messes me up beyond recognition. You know, the boys show up and I'm on the sidewalk sleeping, you know.
First of all, I'm like, where was I at? But also, yeah, no.
Probably cheering us on.
The person who is coherent. Until certain things, I'm like, ooh, damn, hold on, these are my friends.
Hit him, G. You too, Russell.
Well, yeah, you know, a little sparring match, that's fine.
Obviously, that depends on the cop, but I tell you what, I would love to be in that situation. I would love to just be a bystander and be like, hey, these two motherfuckers are about to...
You guys see that ref in boxing that's like...
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's like... He's grinning ear to ear, just like, yeah, get in there.
Bro, I'm happy for him. He
That
has
guy-
his job.
That guy loves his
I hope he
job.
does not play poker.
I have never loved a job as much as that guy does.
But I mean, shit.
And I used to work at a candy store.
I mean, shit. You love the candy so much, nigga. You was
No, I
hitting
can't
licks.
stand it.
Literally.
Thank you. Right. We're still on number 1 right now, so
Right.
we're definitely doing.
We gotta get to number 17.
Hot damn.
We'll be in our 40s.
Number 2, I put myself last and my family first.
When it comes to your family, think of yourself last. Okay, so this is a new one for this year. Now, this is one that's a great reminder for me as well, because I like doing things my way. I like getting my way. I like going to the restaurant I want to go to. I like listening to the song I want to listen to. I like everybody doing exactly what I want them to do. And this is going to come as a shock to literally no one here that has a wife and kids. That doesn't always seem to matter, because if you go into a situation with that mindset, whether it's before a vacation or a family outing or just some sort of decision that you need to make, maybe you got young kids, maybe you have older kids, whatever. If you think of yourself last, you're practicing servanthood.
Absolutely.
Bro, you know, I'm on the mindset usually of self-preservation so I can provide for people, right? If I don't handle myself, I'm not going to be full blast enough to pour into other people and to give them that energy. But I understand where it's like put myself last and my family first, kind of how you shifted to become a weapon, which is like, okay, you could be a weapon, Cold War style, versus being direct, you know, like all the world wars you've been through.
Take care of yourself first, of course, but family is everything, bro.
Yeah, like you take care of yourself first so you can
take care of family.
put your family first.
How many people have you met through college or wherever who don't have the type of family that you have, that I have, that he has? You know how lucky and blessed we are to have the family that we have?
I mean, you should definitely be grateful for what you have, because we all have different family dynamics too. So what you're saying is be grateful for what you have, really, because all of our family dynamics are different. Yeah. You know, it's not really comparable. The only thing that's similar...
No, it's not. But one thing that is similar is that we have an abundance of it.
In this particular regard, what I gauged was that he's speaking on immediate family. So if you have a family of your own.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I mean, put my family last, put myself last and my family first. It's like, like if somebody breaks into the house, I make sure the girls are safe.
Right.
Type shit. And then I, go do the sweep.
So that's
right.
So that's something I can't relate to then, because I don't have an immediate family. I don't have kids. I don't have a wife, but I still have family.
Yeah, but like something you could relate to, and this is.
You have a mom. You have your dad. Like that's your immediate family.
Grandparents,
stuff.
like putting family first is like me going to be with my grandma when none of her kids would be with her because of COVID regulations and shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, I was there for her last moments.
I would have on to that.
Family first, nigga. I didn't want to fucking be there, nigga. I had shit to do.
I would add on to that though too, like our friendship. We consider ourselves family. We're not blood related, but if someone came in here and came after you, you better believe, I'm gonna
duck.
Yeah.
No, mine should go click. Then you can get that.
You know what I mean, though.
Yeah, no, real talk, bro. I mean, we definitely, like you said, bro. The family, like I'm with you on that same level. Is I will defend y'all like I won't defend a regular person.
Like there's not a lot, but there's some people in my family where, if it was a choice between you guys and them, I'm picking you guys first,
Right, because I believe that the blood family is just an example of what society might show you. Yeah. People say, oh, you have nothing but family. Like, bro, that's manipulation right there, bro. Because we all got somebody that we should be fucking with in our family.
The school of thought I choose to go with when it comes to family is when I fuck up or they fuck up or something, whatever, and they reach out to me or reach out to them for help. I'm going to do what I can to help them, even if I don't necessarily agree with what they did,
Hey, you better than me, bro. I'll be like, fuck these niggas, bro. He's
Like,
even worse. He's just be
let's
doing
say-
calls and shit.
Well, like, for example, like, let's say you got drunk and you drove your car into something, and it's,
Like a ditch or something off the side of the road.
oh, ha, 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 ha. Or let's say you fucked up bad, like you drove your car into a car, into someone else, and you fucked up the car and you disabled it or something, and like, Russell, I need...
You calling Jesus?
Can you come down here? Or you call him, whatever. It's like, I might not agree with what you did, Eric, and it might be the last time I help you, but I'm still going to do what I can to get you out of that situation, because you're family,
I mean, they say love is blind and all that shit.
To an extent. I think it's to an extent, but still, I'm
That's probably the King James version.
like if you do it again, fuck you.
Well, I mean, that's the difference between a mistake, which is first time, and
Yeah.
then bad decision,
Bad decision. Yeah.
which is why you keep doing this shit.
Yeah.
Turning into insanity.
Or you're not putting me first if I'm your family.
Right, exactly. Like, but see, and that's what we're getting into, right? Is put myself last and my family first, but nigga, I put you before me and you keep
Fucking
abusing.
up, right.
Yeah,
And
bro.
Here's the thing. The one thing I would add before we move on to the next was put yourself first before family. But where would yourself be without your family?
I mean, nigga, I need my whole family to be born, nigga. I just need my mom and dad to be fucking at the right time. I need my aunts and uncles and all that shit. I need my grandma, I guess, and my grandpa.
Nah, bro. Like,
Cause,
all my family, my uncles, my aunts, my grandparents, I'm dealing with the shit with my grandpa, my mom, my dad. Like, all of them in a lot of ways have helped me to where I am now. I'm sure you can relate to that. Where would I be without all their input? Where would you be without all their input?
I mean, that's a loaded question because everybody's influenced me differently.
That's all their influence in my life. You probably have multiple family members in your life influencing you. Like, where would you be without all that?
Everything we do influences us,
Yeah, exactly.
right?
So it's like
that's why the perpetual quest for the ideal self is about taking in through your own filter the external influences
But-
and making it your own. But you have to be aware of who you are.
yes, you're absolutely right. But I didn't think that way when I was 8 years old or 9 years
Yeah,
old.
we're 30 something. But that's me. We're 30 something. Nigga, moving, speaking 30 something. Number 3. Okay.
Give the person in front of you your full attention. Now, that's the same as something from 2024, but I'm going to give you an addition to this one from last year. So give the person in front of you your full attention and get rid of your godforsaken smartwatch. I swear to absolute everything holy in this world, I cannot stand smartwatches. As I'm sitting here with a Garmin smartwatch on my wrist. But this smartwatch has no notifications. I've turned all the notifications off. So I don't get a notification when I'm getting a phone call, when I'm getting a text message, when I've reached whatever goal there is for that day. I'm not getting a notification at all from my wrist because I'm already getting enough from this thing. But if someone's in front of you, if they're giving you the one thing that they can't get back, which is their ability to control time, which we don't have the ability to control time, but if they're giving you their time, the least that you can do is give them your attention.
Yeah.
Stay present in social situations, which is why we're still on number 3 right now. We're on number 3 because we staying present in social situations.
Right.
Which, yes, you should.
He goes into not having it or wearing your Apple Watch if you have one. Because similar to... it would
God
just
damn it.
He didn't say not wear it. He said turn off most notifications, especially on a watch.
All right.
And get rid of your godforsaken smartwatch.
I'm silenced right now.
He didn't say don't wear it
And get rid
because it tracks good shit, but you're right. Stay present.
Yeah.
Dude,
Not
dude.
having the distractions.
Do not disturb mode right now.
Yeah, mostly because he was making just the point of you wouldn't take out your phone and just look at your text messages halfway through somebody talking to you unless you really didn't care about what the fuck they were saying.
People do that a lot, bro. It's upsetting.
Well, yeah, but like you said, what G said with the phone thing, it's similar because I think when I glance at the watch, it's less distracting. Because you're right, like I'm not going to pull out my phone. That's disrespectful to really just do in the middle of a meeting or a social interaction. But we do that shit all the time, bro. You kick with people, they're on their phones and shit. Like, oh, am I not entertaining enough for you? Type shit. He's right, bro. Turn notifications off, period. Let me finish this thought real quick, please.
Sorry.
Turn notifications off, period, that don't mean shit. And that's helped my life a lot because there's a lot of just pointless, oh, so-and-so posted a story, likes, fucking D&D, like you said, bro. Like, I have D&D, but looking for y'all. Y'all are, if I'm on personal D&D, you guys can call me. Because I turned off that fucking double call shit. Call my shit twice, it's voicemail, bitch.
Watches are older than phones. You know, people have had watches for a long time, just checking the time. But, yeah, smart watches, you know, a little more interactive. But phones especially, like, how many examples do you have in your own life where you're talking to someone and they're like, oh, yeah. It's
in casual...
And how many times have you done it, too?
In casual situations, often. But in professional situations, it was easier before I had the smartwatch. I could ignore my phone. You know what I mean? Like, it's going off in my pocket.
Yeah.
I'm ignoring it. But when you have the watch, like, it's kind of just easy to be like, you know, look at it and you think it's not really impacting. But I know this shit like that, so why wouldn't the other person know this shit like that? But also, it's about staying present. Because it takes 5 to 15 seconds minimum to shift tasks.
What's one of the things that you get pissed off at me about when we're talking? I always say, look at me when I'm talking to you.
Yeah, because I'll be like, bro, first of all, nigga, you can't control my fucking eye contact. And eye contact don't mean shit. Because when...
Yeah, it does.
One of the telltale signs of somebody lying is too much eye contact.
No, eye contact is respect, bro.
Okay.
Eye contact is focus.
Depends on the culture, though, Russ, as well. There's cultural differences.
But
in the patterns of the individual person.
Let's talk about America here right now.
Sure.
I'm talking to you, like, right now, versus, like, I'm talking to you, G.
Right.
That's incredibly disrespectful.
Depending on who you're talking to, though.
It's disrespect. That's disrespectful across the board, you know?
If we're being myopic, yes.
Yeah.
But
yes,
yeah.
I am.
Yeah.
Like,
right, because there's people that could fucking look at you, bro, the whole time you were talking, nigga, having a conversation, and didn't retain shit.
Bro, like...
Sure, yeah.
A lot of different Asian races, bro, like, it's disrespectful to look somebody directly in their eye when they're
I'm not talking about those.
Nigga, most Asian races, you can't even see their eyeballs.
I'm not talking about that, G. I'm talking about
go
here
even further
now.
disrespect.
Just like, like, if I'm talking to you, you know, like, hey, you know, it's $5 for this ticket, look at me. You know?
Right. But I'm also explaining, like, why, like, I mean, unfortunately, even with our myopathy, there's people of other races here. So, like, it'll explain why they're not doing something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and that understanding also has to be met.
Living in a city like Seattle where we have a lot of different cultures,
right.
You encounter that, of course.
But going into ancient culture, you know, Stoic culture, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Use them in that order, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I
would rather have your ears than your eyes anyway. I think presence is a combination of all of that shit. Next one, make a gratitude list.
Make a gratitude list. The reason why I do this is because my good buddy and mentor, Joby Martin, the pastor of Church of 1122 down in Florida, something that he talks about, he's talked about with me personally, but from the pulpit multiple times, is he has a gratitude list on his phone. And so for every year that he's been alive, he has one thing that he's grateful for. Some of them might be huge things. Some of them might be things that might seem a little bit vapid, but they're important to him. Having this list puts me in the mindset of, I want to make sure to complete the list. You know, if you're injured or if you're having problems at home or if you're having problems at work or if you're not really performing in the way that you want to perform in all areas of life, going back to a gratitude list is a great thing.
Daily. I put in, you know, SWOT-ish mentality, right? Like strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. You know, like I'm thinking about journaling a little bit more just to get used to that writing and that reflecting and being able to go back and be like, okay, this is what happened this day. So it's not he say, she say, but it's like, bro, I wrote this down. This has to be true. And this I was lying to myself again. Damn it.
Neil deGrasse Tyson says something like that where he says eyewitness testimony is the worst form of evidence, you know?
Right.
So, like, to your point, yeah, it's good to write stuff down, you know, and be like, this is what this is what happened, but it's absolute. It's definitely not an absolute, you know.
Well, I mean, I agree with you before you wrapped up your statement, which is when I do a journal, it's the day of, right? So if I don't do a journal and I do an eyewitness testimony,
still the day of,
probably it's gonna be less accurate, you know, because I'm going off of memory from that day in the past. Whereas I can go look at my journal and be like, oh, well, this is what happened. I wrote this shit down.
I'm definitely missing the point, though. I'm sorry. Like, it's good to reflect, and look back on things that happened in the day and see where he had some victories and see where he had some failures.
Which leads us back to, he said, gratitude list.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know how you feel about this gratitude list. It's good to have gratitude, but I don't think you need to have a list.
What is that?
Gratitude is good, but I don't think you need to have a list.
But but gratitude is important though. Like, yeah,
Absolutely.
Maybe you don't need to have a list, but
yeah, because if you're not grateful, you're ungrateful, and you're an only child, and I was the only child for a minute, so I definitely had my ungrateful moments. Like, I want a cheeseburger plain. Why is there pickles on here? Bitch, you got a cheeseburger.
pickles off.
Be grateful you even. Basically, the joke is where I'm going. I went too long with it. Is some people have to split the fucking cheeseburger, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, it don't matter if you see it as half full or half empty.
At least you got something.
Yeah. Bro, these motherfuckers out here talking about some nigga losing water every time nigga through them cracks. You can't even get it. Right?
Like a good example would be like, hey, I don't like where I'm living now in my new place. It's not that, like, I get a new place. I don't like everything about it. It's not that big, it could be warmer. But, I got my own place.
The fucking place is bigger than the fucking tent.
And that's...
Most tents.
Well, it's also way better than having, 8 or 9 roommates, driving you nuts. Like...
Okay. Excuse me. Next one. Push my physical and mental limits that check my ego. Redline once a week.
Do incredibly difficult physical things that constantly check your ego and your limits. So this is a derivative, I think, of what I said last year, which is make sure that you redline at least once a week. So redlining for people is different. So maybe redlining for you is you got to the end of that set where you would normally stop at 5 reps and you did 2 extra reps. Or maybe you're on the Airdyne bike and you're doing that, 30 cal sprint at the end of a 25-minute, Tabata workout. Maybe it's that extra jujitsu round that you would normally skip because you're gassed out, but you get to that point where you feel like you're absolutely redlined and you can't do anymore. But the reason why I changed it to do incredibly difficult physical things that constantly check your ego and your limits is because there are people that will redline at the stuff they're good at. Maybe you're amazing at powerlifting, right? So you're, deadlifting over 700 pounds, you're benching over 400, you're squatting over 500, and you're that guy. And so you're fine to redline doing that type of stuff. You can't remember the last time you did cardio, though. You've never ran a sprint, right? Because that's more difficult because you're not very fast. And so you're going to focus on the things that you're good at because of your ego.
Explain that redline quote.
Push it to the limit.
Yeah, when we was in the store and I was on the phone with you, I was talking about, you redlining type shit. I just watched this video. Redlining is, like you said,
what
push the limit.
Kept black people out of like housing and shit.
It is. That's funny. That's a new video, right? Not up there.
I just learned that in trivia, bro.
You learned it in trivia. That is not trivial information, but it was in trivia. That's crazy.
Grow up
like it's a joke.
I didn't grow up. How I grew up, bro. That was never an issue. Like, I grew up on farms.
Right, just where the niggas belong. But anyways, push your physical and mental limits. So redline once a week is like push yourself to your capacity. So like for me, it's like redlining mentally is listening to your ass talk without rebuttaling. That's redline mentally.
It's 1%
physically
better
is
every
going
day.
to the gym with this nigga.
Right, it's 1% better every day.
No, that's not redlining. Redlining is push yourself to the max, like nigga, like max out, bro. Like do as many push-ups as you can, type shit.
Right, but if you're 1% better every day, it's more than it's more than your previous 100%.
What?
Well, 1% every day is what you should be doing every day, but redlining once a week is pushing yourself a little bit further, like going hard, bro.
Like,
doing something that you don't normally do, or doing something that you normally do like 2, 3, 4 times, 10 times harder.
This might be a good example, Eric.
Redlining is like redlining, bro.
Yeah, it's
that was a joke.
Yeah.
Like, to your example, Eric, when I used to be in shape, I used to work out. Like, one of my coaches was like, okay, get better every day. I would lift more every day. But then one of my teammates, his dad, I met his dad, and he was like, this is how I used to work out. And he used to do his reps differently, like, start out low and then max out your reps, weight-wise, and then max them out even further, to where the point was, he said, you need to get to a point where you can't even write your name after you're done working out. And he was like, when you do that, your body's, the muscle is so weak, but your body builds on more muscle, to help accommodate that.
Subject to failure.
Yeah, so, but you have to go, but you have to go so far what you're capable of to get to that point. You know, and then the next time you do it, you take it even further, you know, to where versus like, you know, you're getting better every day is really good, but like if you go to a point where it's like you walk out of the gym, you're just like, bro, I can't even, you know, tie my goddamn shoelaces, you know. Your body's building on top of that, and the next time you go there, you are way stronger for it, you know?
Yeah, like people that weightlift for aesthetic, they pretty much lift the same thing every week.
Yeah.
But people that are weightlifting for strength, I mean, if you're conscious about it, they're like you're saying, they're maxing out. So like if my max back when I was in shape, if my max was like, you know, 200,
yeah,
I would one of my reps, my last rep would be like 185 at the least.
Yeah.
I'd be getting close to what my max is, but I'm doing reps on this bitch.
Yeah.
But I'm doing less reps than I was doing before, because before I'm doing like, you know, 165 or whatever.
Sure.
I'm doing way under, more reps, and then you get close to your fucking max, because like you're saying, you want to tear your muscles enough so they can repair better.
Yeah.
Like,
but like you end on a heavy note.
Right, which is why we got a red line. You know, do things that we don't normally do. Yeah, you should be going for everyday progress. 1% makes sense. But
it works in sales too. I mean, like, you know, you could get a comfortable rhythm in sales where it's like, okay, you use your talk tracks that you normally do just to, you know, get by, you know. But if you want to maximize your commission, you know, you gotta, you know, ask questions you don't normally ask that you're uncomfortable with. You gotta reach out to more people, you know, that you normally
you gotta
do.
give extra effort, right?
Yeah.
Which is why I like this one, because when you redline, you realize more your strengths, more your weaknesses, more your potential, and what's possible.
You realize
when you don't know what's possible, you don't think about it. But when you redline, you're like, oh damn, I thought my max was 200.
You realize what you're capable of.
All right, we about to finish this sticky right now, though. Look at this. Participate in ministry. Study God.
Get involved in a local church. Go into it thinking, can I serve here? Study the Bible with other men.
Serve selflessly. I put that again just to remind myself about that selfless shit. But participate in ministry, like, you know, read the Bible. This is for you, G, right here. Participate in ministry. Study God. Serve selflessly. Like, you know, I don't give a fuck what God you study, bro. And I know you believe in the higher power. But I'm being an evangelist right now.
There's no...
But, bro, just, you know,
here's the thing.
Research ancient documents of understanding.
Let me just say this and get this on YouTube.
We editing all this shit out, but no, I'm kidding.
I get it. Like, there's a higher power regardless, okay? It's not up for debate. Like, if let's say, you know, we all disintegrated. Let's say Thanos, you know, snapped his fingers, and we all disintegrated. This world's going to keep turning. The sun's going to keep coming up and down. Plants are going to keep growing. Rivers are going to keep flowing. There's obviously something bigger at work outside of humanity. There's something bigger at work, no matter what. There is. No matter what.
I agree with that.
It's science. It's not up for debate, you know. That's why they say the world's a cruel place, because these laws of physics, you know, and how people age and things die and they grow and they eat each other, they happen regardless of how you feel about it or what you want to happen. You know, like my grandpa's, you know, probably going to die, you know, soon.
Eventually.
It's probably going to be soon. Like, I don't want to, obviously, because I love him to death, but it's going to happen regardless of whether or not I want it to happen, you know?
See, that's what I'm saying, but you love him to death, right? But that's why I say love him to life. Because first of all, I believe in eternal life, which is like you love him to death, so like he dies, you just gonna stop loving the nigga? Damn.
No. So that's the point. Like, that's the point I just wanted to make. So, like, I would ask you, what do you mean by, like, ministries?
So, like, getting into ministry, participating in ministry is basically getting into a place where you study God. And he meant like a Christian God, right? But sure. I'm saying study something of a higher power, universe. I don't give a fuck if it's spiritual, whatever.
Yeah.
But take yourself out of the equation of having power, because we're really powerless to everybody else's decisions.
Yeah.
We can only hope for the best, prepare for the worst type of shit.
Yeah.
You know, so get in the ministry, because you never know when your last days are going to be, bro. You better have everything right with God, and, you know, have your sins repented for and all that stuff. But just be a good person. You can't be a good person by yourself.
Ministry is defined as the work or vocation of a minister of religion, the period of tenure of a minister of religion in certain countries, a government department headed by a minister of state.
That's a very political definition, right?
Right, I
In
mean, it's
certain
on
countries.
Google.
Right.
In my opinion, bro, ministry is getting involved in belief of a higher power and taking the onus off of you and knowing that you can get support from something else. Because, bro, we're here, it's natural, whatever. But, bro, don't kill yourself over something that we've gone through on a regular basis. Like, we've been through some hard shit. Niggas fucking break up and kill themselves over little ass shit.
I guess my point was
Courtney Love? Nigga.
Right. I guess my point is like, you know, like you say, getting to a belief of a higher power. I was just saying there's no belief of a higher power. There is a higher power, regardless of what you want to believe in, you know? So.
Well, I mean, that's just very strong belief. And I admire that.
It's just science, bro. There is a higher power.
I mean, some niggas be like, there's unicorns.
Yeah, maybe there was.
Well, I mean, there's probably more likely that it was, but there's motherfuckers, you said there is a higher power, it's not belief. I mean, yeah, bro, the fact that you believe in something means that it's, you know, something that you believe in. It's faith, bro.
There's
faith is
there's
belief in things
there's
unseen.
absolutes in this world, bro. Like, the world does turn a certain way, you know?
I mean,
we do get old a certain way, you know? Gravity pulls us down a certain way. There is a higher power that you can't control.
Science can't prove everything, and so when they can't prove something...
It can't prove everything, but...
Right, but it's
science,
God, though. That's how God exists.
There's absolutes in science that you can't disprove, you know? There is something higher at work here.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is when science can't prove something, they don't say, oh, that's divinity.
Sure.
You know, there's people that want to say that shit that are scientists, but you got to separate the work of the science from your religious beliefs, because religion is highly political as well.
Yeah.
So we're getting a little bit deeper, but I mean, honestly, just have a belief in a higher power and like believe that we're all here to be good people and we should strive to be good people. Even if you're talking to a Satanist who I've met a Satanist before and I was like, I want to talk to you. They're like, yo, you must be a Christian. Yeah, bitch, you feel the power? And she was like, yeah, but honestly, Satanism is just, you know, believing in the natural order of things.
Sure.
Just enjoying the earthly stuff.
Sure, right? And like in that regard, I could kind of agree with that, because when I was younger, I was a little more atheistic, but I got older and I came to God.
I took your ass to the fucking function.
Exactly, and that's how I came to Jesus, but my own interpretation of it wasn't that, you know, there isn't someone in my life telling me what to do, this is wrong, this is bad, but my interpretation was the camaraderie I felt with everyone around me, the collective energy around me, you know, with people that are on this world for a very finite period of time. Like, one of the things we have in common is that we're not all going to be here, you know? Everyone's going to die someday, you know, and the science tells us when you die, that's it, you know. There's no afterlife. You're dead. You're dead
That's not what science tells us. Science doesn't know what the fuck happens.
No. According to science, you know, you get in a state of non-existence, you know, so when you're dead, that's it. You're dead forever, you know. But
that's fucked up. They don't know, so they're just telling us that there's nothing.
But we don't know for certain, you know. But knowing that, though, the way I try to interpret is like, okay, even if there's not a heaven or hell, you know, and I'm just dead forever, or maybe there is a heaven or hell, I want to maximize the time that I know that I have here.
Science is the only practice that can prove anything.
I mean, yeah, because I mean, I guess we have faith, right?
Right.
So, like, let's just say,
in the unseen.
You can't prove everything, but it's the only practice that can prove anything.
Let's say you don't agree with me, but like, let's say just hypothetically that like you agree that when you die, that's it. You know, you're dead forever. It's just nothingness.
Nope.
Wouldn't you just want to maximize the time that you have on this planet?
Right. So, like, even I would, from a non-believing standpoint, I think most good people recognize that there's value in civic duty, and if you want there to be a better world, then you owe it to everyone else to do that, regardless of a god or not.
Yeah.
So is civic duty the same thing as moral duty?
There's similarities, aren't there?
I feel like civic duty is more so man-made, whereas moral duty is just that intrinsic feeling of right or wrong that we know.
Civic is, I guess, it's not necessarily more man-made, but it is more man-focused.
Like, am I breaking the law? Nigga?
Like your common civilian, your common citizen.
You try to better your fellow man.
Exactly. The people around you recognize that. The people around you.
You gotta be careful with that fellow man shit. There's women out here too.
Fellow human.
Right.
Yes.
I mean, we can all come to an agreement regardless of our faith backgrounds. Because I'm opposite. I'm completely opposite of you, Tyler. Like I grew up with a very strong faith, and I moved the other way. I don't think it's, and not because it's not like. I don't think that there's. I don't always think that there's bad things with religion, but also I don't think it's that important.
Yeah. And here's the thing. Like, I absolutely hate to say what I'm about to say, but I'm not a religious guy. I don't go to church on Sunday. I don't. I do pray, but I don't pray because I believe God. Tells me what to do. But I try to work within the energy. That I believe in this world. So I believe God is not an omnipotent being. Who sits in the clouds and says you can do this and that. This could sound silly, but. I believe God is one of the closest analogy. I think God is like the Force from Star Wars. I think that's a good analogy.
Yeah,
I know it sounds silly, but like
it's
energy that works and makes everything work, and you can work with it.
Catholics really love Star Wars.
Well,
right, because it doesn't tell it like it is. I gotta take a piss real quick. I'm sorry to interrupt you real quick because I'm gonna have to leave this fucking shit. We got off of one sticky note, and we almost through. It's gonna be part 1 and part 3. But nigga, universe. One voice.
Wait.
Same shit as God.
Wait a second before you leave that.
Finish your thought, Russ. Go ahead.
Okay, so I use Star Wars because that's like the easiest analogy to pull it with. So there's a certain pattern and rhythm in this world that you can work within. Like when you do right, like you better yourself, like you eat healthy, you treat people with respect. You know what is right and what's wrong.
Right.
When you do that, that's when you start seeing the benefit and success in your life. Versus when you work against that, like you just only look out for yourself, you do wrong, like you don't take care of yourself, you skimp on your rent or whatever example you want to have. You treat people with disrespect, and then you start seeing bad in your life. Like, there's a natural order of things to me that's higher and we can't touch it, but it's there. And when you work with it, it works for you. When you work against it, it's noticeably against you.